and make sure they understand and address our questions, then if that comes to be the case, the judge sees you made a reasonable effort. Because a lot of the time, the judges don't understand all the nuances. No. But if you have documentation and real evidence that you did make a concerted effort, that can go a long way.
Oh, okay.
I've heard you use that quite a bit, reasonable effort. Mm-hmm. So it's not really sticking to the letter, but it's actually just making the reasonable effort to make sure that you're following and being compliant in the things that you're doing.
Right, and this is why I think it's helpful to have somebody like myself that is also trained as an ethics consultant. I did my training at the University of Washington, so that we can explain to you that unfortunately in ethics and compliance, often we are in this gray area. There isn't always going to be a regulation or a law that says explicitly, this is right, this is wrong. So what we have to do instead is kind of prepare for those gray areas and situations and have some documentation to show, we were doing our due diligence, we were making a reasonable effort.
Okay. So now you also said that the federal level is really slow at getting things out. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean for, Blow Joe down the street who has his barbecue pit and is doing his thing?
Right. So I think some people will hear that and go, oh, well, then I don't need to worry about this for a while. Not necessarily, because since things haven't been updated, again, there's all this room for interpretation. Right. A perfect example of this is we don't have a definition for what public space is. When I did my master's in public health at the UW, I did a whole 2-year research project looking at this, and I interviewed ethics experts across the country to try and figure out how do they interpret this. Some felt that Facebook was public. Others felt that it wasn't because it required a password. And so when you have all these different opinions,
interesting.
A lot of times it'll also come down to, if you find yourself in court, how good is your attorney?
True.
Right? Because they can help try to interpret those in a way that benefits your case. So what we want to do is try to prevent you from getting into court in the first place.
Sure.
But not getting too comfortable just because the federal regulations are behind.
So there's so many different PC correctedness that ends up in a lawsuit if you sneeze wrong. Mm-hmm. But it's so interesting because everybody's got a camera. Everybody's spying on each other. Mm-hmm. What happens in a situation where, ethical-wise, you walk into, like Walmart, if you've seen that yet on Facebook where they have the embarrassing pictures, is that something that's actually
fashionistas?
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, part of it's going to be who took the picture, right? And then part of it's also the state law. So here in Washington State, if you hire a photographer, even if you sign a contract with them, 9 times out of 10, because this is how the state law defaults, they own that property. Even if you don't like the pictures, even if you said don't share them, they can really do whatever they want because they own that as their intellectual property. So a lot of times it goes from one state to the next.
Oh, okay.
So if I go in and I snap a picture, I own the picture?
If you're a photographer, or if you're not an employee. But let's say you were working and you took that picture. That might mean that Walmart owns that.
Sure.
I think what's nice is if you do, hire someone like myself, you get a policy, you get some training, you start creating a culture with your team around openness and normalizing asking questions. That way, let's say something does happen or an employee's not sure, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable bringing it to you or asking ahead of time, and you can put out fires sometimes even before they start.
Absolutely. And being preventative to me is far more better than being reactive.
Yes.
So Tiffany, I know that you're busy. You got lots of stuff and you're doing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So, if I'm a listener and I'm curious, when's your next workshop, or where are you speaking next?
Sure.
How do they just get a hold of you? I know you've already given us that information, but let's plug it again.
No problem. So you can contact me at info@fithtechnation.com. You can also call me or text me at 360-972-3931. That is HIPAA compliant, by the way. Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show, and even more importantly, I want to thank you for how you're changing our world. I love it whenever we've got individuals that come on the show and they're changing not only their cities, their communities, but they really are changing things on a national level. And I love the fact that you are such a great... That's Stuart, by the way. Stuart Little.
My little dachshund who I brought along.
Here in the studio.
Oh, he's in the
we
studio.
love our fur babies that
He's being
stop
highly
by.
unethical right now.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right, Stuart. You got a voice, honey, and
I
I'm
know.
glad you're using it.
He's eating up your last words. So go ahead, Stuart. Come on.
So I just anyways love the fact that what an incredible gift to humanity. You're making the world a better place. And so I just wanted to thank you and acknowledge you for that.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I have loved working with you, Candace, and with you, Chris, and with Wild Child, and just have been so appreciative of all the coaching, and I'm plugging you everywhere I can because it's hard starting a business. And so having people in your corner really makes a difference.
It's not for the faint of heart. That's for...
And
then we
amen
get
to the
you,
faint of
Mr.
heart.
Lee.
Yes.
Then we get back to the
Mr.
padded
Lee.
room. Back there again.
You're back in the padded room.
So,
I don't care.
Thank you for being on the show, and I hope that you can come back.
I'd love to. That'd be great. I have all kinds of other things to talk about.
Well, that's great. And Candace, you're done now. You're finished.
Well, we've
Pick
got
up
a
your
Wild
check,
Child.
turn in your key,
if
and
you're
there's the
wanting
front
to
door.
know, we've got lots of events coming up. We've got in March, we've got a Intake Excellent workshop that'll be rolled out. So if you want to know what other workshops we've got available, please contact me at 253-961-7525. Again, that's 253-961-7525. And we also, if you want to email me at Candace, CANDACE, wildchildgroup.com, WLDCHILDGRP.com. And I look forward to hearing from you.
And Stuart said thank you.
Yeah. Stuart is a listener, aren't you? Yes.
So
he downloads our podcast all the time.
Yes, he does. Well, we've had a great time, a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to discuss a really heavy subject that a lot of people need to know more about in the business world, for sure. So until we meet again, I'm Bill.
I'm Candace.
Keep us smiling.